I'll let Jennifer walk you through what will check is all about.
Thanks, Mike, and thank you to everyone here at FOLA for having me speak this morning. My name, again, is Jennifer Walker. I'm the head librarian at the CCLA in Ottawa. If you have an older version of the agenda and it says that Rick was speaking, I'm sorry if you really wanted to hear him. He'll be here the rest of the plenary, though, and you can talk to him about it later. We're, again, as Mike was saying, to talk about will check. So this is our wills information registry, and it's something we're really excited about in Ottawa, and we hope we can take this project bigger and better than the success that we're already having with it. So before I show you the actual product itself, I wanted to give you just a tiny bit of background of why we created WillCheck. Many of you probably see messages like this from your association all the time. Ottawa is clearly no different. We send out messages like these and post them on our website pretty regularly. I've been at the CCLA for 10 years, and I've heard rumblings, I think, the whole time that there has to be a better way to find will information or a registry for will information. And it's always struck me as an information professional that this is something that should be fairly easy to do, or at least that it was odd that there wasn't something in place already. So when FOLA announced the PRC Innovation Grant for associations, we kind of thought about this and got to work on putting together our proposal for it. It seemed like a good idea for us to do for a few reasons. First, we felt that the technology that you would need to do this was something that was certainly already within our knowledge base at the library. And we felt it was an excellent value-added item for our lawyers who have an estates practice. We don't help solicitors a great deal at the library for various reasons, and I'm sure other libraries are the same. And but they pay their library levy fee to the Law Society just like everyone else. And we thought this was something that we could do that would give back to them and be directed to their practice needs. We knew right off the bat that the fact that we could not make this mandatory and that it wasn't a mandatory requirement for people to give us this information. We definitely wish we could. That would be great, but we can't. It didn't stop us from trying sort of a if you build it, they will come kind of wishful thinking scenario. So we've kind of put that non-mandatory element into our list of challenges and just press forward. We also heard loud and clear when we were speaking with the lawyers in our area about confidentiality and how it was critically important. So we definitely put that into our list of things to consider as well. So to give you a sense of how this project developed, I'll just give you a look at our timeline. Last fall, we submitted our PRC Innovation Grant proposal, and it was awarded to us last year at plenary. It's almost like a year today. After we were awarded that, we got into gear with our planning. We continued talking with the lawyers in our area who have an estates practice to get their input and their feedback. That was obviously the first thing we wanted to do and needed to do. We also came up with the name WillCheck, which we thought was great. We didn't want it to end up having some sort of unexciting name like East Region Ontario Wills Registry, which is like, who's looking for that? And we just wanted something short and nice. We also took care of some of the back-end technical work that we needed to get that ready to go. In order to build the database, and with the FOLA grant, part of that was spent on building the background sort of database for the program. We employed the expertise of a colleague of ours who's a systems librarian. For those of you who don't know what a systems librarian is, I imagine it's most of the room. Those are people who work on the information database systems that any library has, journal articles, their catalog holdings. We also had to build and design the website. We wanted something that was clear, easy to use, and so we set out designing that. And then one other critical step was hiring legal counsel to review the project and to develop our standard release form, our terms of use, and our privacy policy. So we actually hired a colleague of Colin's to do that for us, and we were very happy with having done so. And then finally, once we got everything up and running, we launched it at our Solicitors Conference May this year. So the Solicitors Conference was our goal, since we get a lot of our target audience in the room at once. And the plan was and is that we would launch the project for the East region first. And our hope is that as the CCLA, we have a long history in the region. We're a nonprofit. We're not trying to do this as a commercial enterprise. And it would encourage lawyers to trust us with this information. And then we just wanted to, hopefully create something that people find useful in the years to come when they're looking for that information, instead of sending out notices to email listservs. So without any further delay, I'll look at the website. I'm not looking at this live because inevitably when I try to do a live demo, it means the internet doesn't work. So these are, I can't show you anything specific or click through, but you can definitely check that out for yourself. That's the address there. So this is the homepage of WillCheck. Again, our goal was to make it as simple as possible to use and deposit information with us. It has two functionalities, which is register a will and find a will. So to register a will, you click on, there's two steps. First step, there's the release up at the top. So we prepared a release for lawyers to use with their clients, which outlines the permissions they are giving. So first by the lawyer, the lawyer releasing that information to us, and then for us to release that information to lawyers, just so clients know what they're kind of signing up for. It's a Word document so that lawyers can easily copy and paste it onto their own letterhead or whatever works for them in their office. So once the lawyer has received that, taking care of that, the next step is to give us the will information. So on the home page, you click Register a Will, and then it's really as simple as filling out this form. Once you fill out those fields, you hit Register a Will, and that's it. The information's in the database, and you are done. We monitor the entries to make sure everything's spam-free and correct. For the time being, we're doing this all manually. If lawyers want to wait and tell us in a bulk, so every week, month, quarter, year, there is a CSV file that you can download. It's just like an Excel spreadsheet. You fill that in and you can upload it all at once instead of doing it per will, just depending on, I guess, what works better for people. So to be quite clear, we do not collect the wills themselves. It's just the information about the client, the lawyer's information. And so that if someone is looking for a will down the road, they'll have that information. We know things can change over time, obviously. It's a starting point at least. And if lawyers want to get in touch with us and change information about the location of wills, if they're retiring or something like that, we'd be happy to work with them to capture that information. So to find a will off the home page, again, there's the button there. Click on that. And there's a form that you fill out and hit Submit Request. So within 2 business days is the standard that we indicate, although probably faster. We'll get back to them with anything that appears relevant. Until we get more information in the database, it's obviously not going to be used as much since we're just starting to collect the information now. But it's very simple how to do that. For now, requests for searches are only completed for members of the Law Society and other bars. So it's not for members of the public to request information through. So we've also created a frequently asked questions page, which gives more people information about the project. It includes links to our terms of use and our privacy policy. Some frequently asked questions, or 2 that I guess I'll answer here. The first is cost. So we do not charge for this service. It's entirely free from start to finish for users. To get this started off the ground and moving, we wanted to encourage as much participation as possible. And so if not charging for that helps, then we're all for that. It's also not a terribly expensive project for us to run in general, so there's not a lot of cost to recoup anyways. The next is the subject of older wills. So at this time, we have not received any information on how you can ethically give us a list of all of your old wills from your offices without getting your client's consent first. This continues to be a big gap in our data. That said, if people want to go back and ask their clients, that is certainly, we'll take the old information. It's just admittedly a bit of a road bump is getting all those lists that everyone already has built up. So we launched this in May at our Solicitors Conference, and the immediate feedback from people in the room was really positive. We spoke to a lot of lawyers that weekend, gave out our swag to people, and there was significant interest, we felt, from the crowd there. For our grant application, FOLA wanted a measurable impact, and we weren't even sure what to say about that. We didn't know how many wills were created a year or anything thing really that was useful. So we looked at how many will notices we sent out the previous year, and we decided to base it off of that. So in 2015, we had sent out 20 notices to our mailing list looking for wills and estates information. So we decided to see if we could get 20 lawyers to submit will information to our database, and that worked for FOLA, so thank you. While I don't think are at 20 lawyers yet using the service, as of last time I checked, I'm happy to say we have over 370 will information pieces logged into so that's 370 wills, not 370 name date. 370 wills have been registered with us. So we're very pleased with that. We weren't sure if we were going to get like 20. So 370, I can work with that. And that is not having done a whole lot of promotion yet. So that kind of gets to our future plans. First up, we're going to be reaching out to other East Region law associations in the next month. So this along with an email to our Ottawa lawyers to give an update on the project now that we're at the 6-month point, and to remind people to check it out, give us feedback. We have worked with feedback we've gotten already from people who have used it, so to tweak it and fine tune it, and that's been very useful to us. Also, we want to look at the software upgrade. We wanted to launch this small to kick the tires on the project a bit, see if the website was working, the database was working. And now that we've been at this for a while, we do want to look at some other options for the database software that it runs on. Translating what we have into French and building a French interface is our next goal. We want to have that for the next conference, the Solicitors Conference in May. We want to make it a fully bilingual experience for users. And finally, expanding this out further than the East Region. So we've had interest from other law associations, and we wanted to be confident that it could work, that the system could work, both just the human element as well as the computer database part. So we want to start looking more into that and how we can work with other law associations across the province to promote the program and manage the program. So that's about it for my time here. That's my contact information there if you want to get in touch or have any questions about that. But thank you again to FOLA for the grant to make this possible and for having me here to speak about it today. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. There's 3 things that I take away from this partnership and this initiative with CCLA and the WillCheck. The first is innovation doesn't need to be complicated. Sometimes the simplest thing can be the greatest innovation. Second is think big, start small, scale fast. This is a big thinking idea. Let's figure it out, work out the bugs, and then figure out how to roll it out for the rest of the province. The third is what I'm really excited by is how this could be an opportunity to drive some membership for a lot of your associations. Solicitors I've heard this from a lot of associations. Solicitors have been less and less engaged with some associations over the years, in some places at least, because they're just not as in the library as frequently. They're not in the courthouse as frequently. But this is an opportunity for you to engage your solicitors in the community and say, hey, we're offering a service for you. And that's one of the things that I think is terrific about it being a free service. This is something you can say as a member benefit to solicitors in your community. I had this conversation with Corinne last night from York Region, who has a good number of solicitors in her area now, mostly real estate solicitors. But this is again one more thing that we can put onto the mix.